Are you struggling yourselves to sell in job interviews? Or maybe you've had multiple job interviews but just no job offers? Or maybe you've been interviewing for a while and the lack of progress is starting to tear down your confidence. If this sounds like you, please tune in, and this is another episode of Mandy and More Connect. Would perhaps shed some light on what you might be doing wrong or yung medyo hindi magandang pagkakasagot natin sa mga interview questions. And of course, the most important thing is how to answer the most difficult questions in a job interview. And if it's your first time to be here and first time nating mag-meet, please feel free. This is Mandy and More YouTube channel, and this is specifically Mandy and More Connects. Please go on. Don't hold yourself. Please click on that subscribe button and hit on that bell button beside it so you will be updated whenever we do our recent video uploads. Job interviews are always no walk in the park, especially if you are a job seeker with a lot on the line. But the good thing is there are a lot of ways to avoid inadequate performance in a job interview. With a little bit of planning and of course preparation, you can do a lot of things to really outshine all the other candidates. Which is why sinishare ko po sa inyo ngayon on how to navigate at least six of the most difficult questions in a job interview so that you can land on a job that you really like and thrive in your field. Now, without further ado, here are the 6 toughest questions or the basic questions that you might encounter in a job interview. The first tough question that you are likely to be asked is, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? This question probably will be one of the very first questions that you will be asked in a job interview. And it sounds kinda madali or easy up front, but in actuality, this question takes a little bit of more planning and preparation than some of the other questions that I'm going to share with you all today. And because it's one of the most commonly asked questions among all the other interview questions, you absolutely need to be prepared for this question. The answer to this question need to be simple but effective. You don't want to go on about your personal life. However, you do need to show your personality and character while you're answering the question. Your interviewer is trying to get a sense of your confidence level and the passion that you have for the position and the industry. The best way to answer the question, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, is to start with where you are now in your career. Then mention how you got to where you are, and then talk about why you are passionate about the position and the industry. And to top it all off, you want to add how the position aligns with your goals and aspirations. So how does that position match up to where you will be in the future? I want you to think about the answer to this question as part of your 30-second pitch. The second tough interview question that you're likely to get asked is any behavioral type interview questions. An example of an interview behavioral question: tell me about the time that you've handled a difficult situation. Or give me an example of when you made a mistake and how did you handle such mistake. These questions are geared towards a specific situation, hence the term behavioral or situational based questions. Now, these questions are generally more effective than some of the other interview questions that I'm sharing with you today, only because they allow you to go into greater detail, show your skills and ability in action. These questions actually help the interviewer determine some of your past and problem-solving experiences. They want to get an idea of how you are going to solve some problems within the company or in the position in the future. These questions certainly takes some thought, but with some preparation, you can definitely make an impact with how you answer the question. The secret to doing well with any behavioral interview question is to answer it using a micro story. So a micro story is something that you have done in the past or something that you've accomplished in the past. So think about some of the largest projects that you've worked on or some of the things that you are most proud of that you want the interviewer to know? Now think back to the interview question. I mentioned earlier the can you tell me something about yourself? That question is going to be a macro story. So that is your one entire career story in one interview. While these micro stories will help you build upon a larger career story. So when you're asked a behavioral interview question, you can mention it in a story format about what it is you've done in the past that you are most proud of and that you want the interviewer to know you've done. Now let me explain how you are going to structure these micro stories. You're going to use what we call the STAR method. So the STAR method allows you to develop a clear, concise story around the specific situation. So let me explain. The S and the T stands for situation and task. This is going to be the beginning of your story. So this is where you're going to talk about the situation that happened and the tasks that you performed because of that situation. The A stands for action. This is in the middle of the story. This is where you're going to describe your action steps that you took to solve the particular problem. And then of course the R stands for results. This is where you're going to exactly explain the result that you have achieved from solving the problem. Now let me bring that out all together for you in a sample answer. So let's say that the interviewer asks you, can you tell me about a time that you have handled a difficult situation? Here's an example of how you could structure your answer. In my previous position as a business analyst, I had the privilege of working with a client that was gregarious, full of energy, very eager to make things happen. The only problem is that the client didn't have a clear goal or vision of what they really wanted. This led to frustration and a whole lot of misunderstanding. So in the introduction to this question, we are explaining the situation and the task. Let's see how we talk about the action and the results. Using a technique called I know it when I see it, I was able to elicit, analyze, and document ideas the client hadn't considered before. After some powerful brainstorming sessions, we developed a solution that the client was over the moon with. In the end, we received 3 referrals from this one client. So you'll notice that we rounded it off with the action and then the result that we took to solve that specific problem. So again, this is a simple example of how you could answer any behavioral-based interview question. The third tough interview question that you're likely to get asked is, why do you want to work here? This question is asked because the interviewer wants to get an idea of what your goals and intentions are. So before the interview, you really need to think about why you want to work for that company. The key to doing well with this question is to show that you understand the company and the position. You don't want to answer with some generic response like, I want to work for this company because I've always wanted to work here. You want to get into more detail and explain to them why you've always wanted to work here. Is there a specific value? Is there a specific mission or goal that the company is on that is inspiring you to want to work for that company? Or does the position allow you to utilize some of your greatest strengths? Is it a real passion of yours? These are the things that you need to think about, and you have to mention once this question is asked. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever stumbled over an interview question before? I know I sure have. What did you do to pick yourself back up and keep going in your interview? Let me know in the comments down below. The fourth tough interview question you're likely to get is, why should we hire you? This question sounds really similar to the previous question. Why do you want to work here? However, your answer to this question is going to be slightly different. So rather than focusing on the company now, you're going to place the focus on yourself. And you're going to mention why you are so unique from all the other candidates. What special skills or unique talents do you possess that perhaps no one else does? Start finding out what problems the company is facing. You want to thoroughly review the job posting and find out why they are hiring such a position in the first place. Once you thoroughly understand their biggest pain points, you can then explain or communicate in the interview how your skills, your expertise, and your talents can help them solve these problems. The fifth tough interview question that you're likely to get asked in an interview: what are your weaknesses? Interviewers are asking these questions is that because they want to get an idea of your self-awareness. They want to gauge your personality and your character. The key to doing well with this question is to pick a legitimate weakness, and then from there, talk about what you're doing to overcome the weakness. Now, the weakness that you choose to mention in the interview should not directly relate to the position. The interviewer wants to know if you're going to be open and honest about this question. And of course, if you want to make an impact in your interview, you want to pick something that really you struggle with, but doesn't relate specifically to the job. To make it easier on yourself, pick something that is in the past, but stay positive with your response. The sixth tough interview question that you're likely to get asked is, what are your strengths? The reason interviewer asks this question is they want to know, does your strength really align with the position that they are hiring you for? This question also might sound easy, but it's a little more complex than what you think. The key to doing well with this question is to pick strength that specifically aligns with the position you are applying for. For example, if you notice that the position requires someone with astute analytical skills, you need to mention that as one of your strengths. On the other hand, let's say that the position is looking for someone with really fantastic project management skills. Here's the response that you could give. One of my strengths is the ability to organize and implement systems that are easy to follow, and then go into some sort of story that shows how you've been able to accomplish just that. So there you go, guys. Some of the most common tough interview questions, 6 of them that we have tackled. And if you happen to like this video and you want more videos, something like this, which will help you in your future career or any endeavors that you would like to take into consideration in the near future, please hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, Mandy and More, for more videos like this. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!